Okay, the title of this video is How Does Nuclear War Explain the Rapture? The Rapture is in 1 Thessalonians 4 verse 17. We who are alive and remain will be caught up, unquote. But just 4 verses later, sudden destruction is mentioned. That's in chapter 5, verse 3. What I do is use that sudden destruction to explain the departure of souls. Souls are departing from bodies. Why? Because those bodies are being killed by the sudden destruction. So the context of the rapture would be mass destruction, mass death brought on by this sudden destruction. Why is this important? If the sudden destruction is the cause of the departure of souls at the rapture, this means that outside of the zones where the sudden destruction will occur, there will be no rapture. Our big cities are where the sudden destruction, parentheses, Russian attack, close parentheses, will occur. So, America's cities are where the rapture will occur. The rapture will be limited to to America's big cities and our military bases around the world. So Christians in Africa, South America, and most of Asia will not be going up at the rapture. There are 4 objections to what I just said. I'll deal with them at the end. So, just what is this sudden destruction? It is the work of the Antichrist, who is called the man of sin, also known as the son of destruction, which translates into the destroyer. We read, the rapture cannot come except the man of sin be revealed, the son of destruction. We can paraphrase it like this. The rapture occurs when the Antichrist gets revealed as the destroyer by the sudden destruction that he launches. If the sudden destruction occurs at the rapture, like I am proposing, we can paraphrase it like this. The sudden destruction occurs when the man of sin is revealed as the destroyer. Here we have the answer. The sudden destruction is the work of the destroyer. Otherwise, just how can we explain that the destroyer gets revealed at the rapture? If the rapture is the work of the destroyer at the time of sudden destruction, just how is the destroyer launching it? We read he will, quote, make war on the Christian nations. Actually, it says the saints, but I'm using the little brackets to give an enhanced or an expanded explanation. We read he will, quote, make war on the nations of the Christians and overcome them, gaining power over every nation. That's Revelation 13:7. The military attack implied in the words "make war" equals the sudden destruction at the rapture. So the reason for the sudden destruction is this: the Antichrist wants to gain power, wants to gain the whole world. Thus doing what no other man has done in all of history. Let's review what we've learned so far. Number one, the rapture occurs when the sudden destruction takes place. This sudden destruction is what reveals the man of sin to be the destroyer. Number three, so it has to be his work. He is responsible for the sudden destruction. Number four, it would explain, it would occur in the war which the beast launches for the purpose of gaining the whole world. But we still don't know which nation which will launch this sudden destruction, this world war. I call it a world war because it gains the destroyer the whole world. And world war is associated with nuclear war, and so the implication is that a nuclear power, a superpower, is the culprit. Actually, we go by the term the beast in Revelation 13:7. This refers back to the fourth beast in Daniel 7 verse 7, and for the rest of the chapter. It refers first to Western Europe. Actually, it's Roman Empire, chapter 7 verse 7. But in chapter 7 verse 8, it jumps over to the return of the beast, which is much later than the ancient Roman Empire. The Roman Empire is basically boils down to one-man rule over Western Europe, the whole mainland of Western Europe. After the Roman Empire falls, many sovereign nations spring up on once Roman territory, each with its own ruler. So the return of the Roman Empire would mean the return of one-man rule over all of Western Europe. One nation will conquer the sovereign nations, removing their leaders, replacing them with the rulership, his own rulership. If Russia invades and conquers Western Europe, this would fulfill the words about there were 10 horns. The quote, there were 10 horns, then another horn came up among them. Daniel 7 verse 8. The 10 horns are 10 kings. That's found in 7 verse 24. But by extension, the 10 kings are 10 nations, because kings rule nations. Now, 10 nations on once Roman territory. The 10 horns are invaded or intruded upon by an 11th horn that comes up among them in Daniel's vision. This would be a nation from outside of Western Europe that will invade or, quote, come up among the nations of Western Europe and conquer them. So Russia is automatically the 11th nation, for it is close enough, unlike China, and predatory enough, unlike the United States. Long story short, the ruler of Russia will become the ruler of Western Europe, and that makes him the beast, because although the term beast refers to the empire, it also refers to the ruler of the empire, and this is what they call definition creep. Okay. By Russia conquering and deposing the sovereign rulers of 10 nations, actually there's more than 10. One-man rule is restored. It means the man who will, okay, the beast, okay, now he is not the beast when he conquers. He becomes the beast by conquering. When it says the beast makes war, it means the man who will become the beast makes war. Or the nation, which, well, okay, forget that. Okay. Okay. P.S. Because the United States is married to Europe through NATO, when Russia invades and conquers Western Europe, they will have to knock off the United States, bomb the United States. So Daniel 7 verse 8 means much more than it says. Now, as far as the 4 objections, they would be, number 1, what about the passage that says the dead in Christ will rise first? Nuclear war would not account for that. The way to explain that away is simply to take into consideration that when the soul rises to itself, it has a resurrection body. And so the resurrection would occur at death. And so first does not mean first at the rapture, but first before the rapture. That takes care of one objection. Another objection would be people object to my claim, this is number 2, my claim that, quote, mass death will occur at the rapture. They think the rapture is a time when people go to heaven without dying. For it says, we will not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. 1 Corinthians 15. Quote, sleep, unquote, can mean death, but it can also refer to the corpse lying in the position horizontally of a sleeping person. In nuclear war, many victims won't leave behind corpses that sleep or give the appearance of sleeping, for the body will be vaporized by the tremendous heat of the fireballs. So when Paul says we will not all sleep, he means we will not all leave behind corpses, which is the normal procedure. Objection number three. Nuclear war is two groups of people leaving the world, the saved and the unsaved, dying together. But the rapture is supposed to be about just one group departing the world, right? Wrong. Matthew 13:47 through 49 is a parable of the net, which is cast into the sea. Good fish and bad are caught up together. But then they are separated on the shore by the fishermen. This represents saved and unsaved souls being caught up together at the rapture. But then, quote, the wicked are severed from among the just. That's the King James Version. My point is that at the rapture, two groups of people are leaving together, the saved and the unsaved. But it isn't all the saved, and it isn't all the unsaved. Objection number four. Preachers claim, quote, all Christians will go up at the rapture. That's based on these words, we will not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. 1 Corinthians 15. Also, there is Matthew 24:29 through 31. Christ sends his angels to gather his chosen from, quote, horizon to horizon. Doesn't that mean everybody? Doesn't horizon to horizon include everywhere around the world? No, not at all. Suppose you have a map of Israel in the center of the map. On the far right, you would see the USA. On the far left, you would see Japan. If Russia bombed America and our military bases around the world, they would also include, that would include Okinawa, Japan. The saved souls from the victims would be caught up, fulfilling the words from horizon to horizon. Plenty of Christians between those 2 points, between America and Japan, would not have to be raptured in order for these words, horizon to horizon, to be fulfilled. Objection number 5. People say, why can't the sudden destruction be the result of the rapture rather than the cause? Couldn't it be that pilotless planes crashing into buildings amount to sudden destruction? No, we read that the sudden destruction in 1 Thessalonians 5:3 is also called the stars will fall in Matthew 24:29. The metaphorical language, that is a metaphorical language for nuclear warheads falling and then detonating into fireballs. So the sudden destruction will take one form only. It's not pilotless aircraft crashing into buildings. It's much worse than that.